Hey everyone, welcome to this channel, the place where real-life chaos gets spicy. This channel dives into unbelievable but true stories, the kind that unfold when life takes a messy turn. We're talking drama, betrayal, lies, heartbreak, and yes, even payback. Some tales will make your jaw drop, others might hit you in the feels, but each one will keep you hooked. If you're into raw, unfiltered stories from real life, you've found your spot. Make sure to subscribe and stick around, because here at Crazy Pepper Revenge, things are about to heat up. The wings burned with my cheating ex-wife. So here's my story. I'm 35, and I still have trouble wrapping my head around everything that happened. My wife, Karen, 33, and I had been married for almost a decade when everything imploded in the most blindsiding way possible. It began when my buddy Ron called me up, saying he needed to meet in person. His tone was tense. "Can't explain on the phone," he insisted. When we sat down at our usual bar, beers in hand, he looked like a man about to deliver bad news. "I saw your wife today," he said slowly, then pulled out his phone. There was Karen, clear as daylight, holding hands and passionately kissing another man in what looked like an upscale restaurant's parking lot. This wasn't a casual peck, it was intimate, lover-level stuff. "That can't be right," I stammered. "Are you sure it was Karen?" But deep down, I knew Ron wouldn't lie. We'd been friends since college, and he had always had my back. I was crushed, but I needed solid proof. That's when Ron put me in touch with a private investigator named Jerry. Jerry worked out of a cramped, cluttered office full of old files and coffee-stained mugs. His lined face looked like it had seen every form of betrayal imaginable. "Vegas, huh?" he said when I mentioned Karen's upcoming work trip, leaning back in his squeaky chair. "That's prime territory for cheaters. I've got people there who owe me favors. If you get me her room number, I can have her watched." He slid me a tiny voice-activated recorder, no bigger than a pack of gum. "Slip it under her car seat. It'll catch everything." Karen had told me she was heading to Las Vegas for her company's annual convention at the Westgate Resort. My suspicions spiked when she brushed off my idea of celebrating our 10th anniversary there. "Too busy with work," she said flatly. "We can celebrate next weekend." The anniversary itself was midweek, a once-in-a-decade milestone she was choosing to skip. The night before she left, I tucked Jerry's recorder under her seat. Watching her pack, I spotted things that didn't match a business trip. Far too much luggage, flashy club outfits revealing bikinis, including a barely-there micro-bikini I'd never seen, and birth control pills, despite her claiming years ago she'd had a tubal ligation. The recording from her drive to the airport hit me like a brick. Through her car's Bluetooth, I heard her talking to someone she called Stallion. "Last week was amazing," he said. "Plans for next week?" she replied. "Already set," she told him. "Did you tell your husband?" "Not yet, I've got it handled. He suspects nothing." Then came the dagger. "He'll believe anything. I could tell him the moon's made of green cheese and he'd buy it." She even mentioned plans for our anniversary, plans that clearly didn't include me. While she was away, I did something I'd never done in our marriage. I searched her home office. A key in her jewelry box opened a drawer full of secrets that shattered my trust completely. She had over $250,000 in a personal account, breaking our 10% savings rule and proving years of financial deceit. There were receipts for luxury gifts, including a men's Rolex worth more than I made in a month, obviously for her lover. Then came the shockers from Planned Parenthood, cash-paid procedures that didn't match her infertility story. Recent visits showed treatments for conditions she claimed didn't exist. And worse, a receipt for a hefty down payment on an apartment in a wealthy neighborhood, plus utilities and new furniture. She'd built an entire second life without me knowing. Her computer passwords were taped under her keyboard. She clearly thought I'd never look. Emails between her and Greg Wilson, her regional manager, laid out their affair in detail going back nearly a year. One exchange from 6 months prior made my stomach turn. "Greg, did you handle that little issue?" "Karen, yep, took care of it today." "Greg, shame you didn't keep the baby. Could have passed it off as Jason's." "Karen, can't do that. He thinks I can't have kids. He'd know it wasn't his." Reading those messages felt like looking at strangers who were casually dismantling my life. She called me a cocky accountant at a tire store and claimed I'd believe anything. Greg even suggested sleeping with her in our marital bed, but she refused, as if that somehow preserved some moral line. 3 months earlier, Greg had floated the idea of her getting her own place. "With your income you could pull it off, and your husband would never know." She'd replied, "Maybe you're right. I've got my own account, and Jason never asks." That apartment down payment I'd found? It was just over a month old. I decided to call Greg's wife. Mrs. Wilson? This is Jason Chandler. Your husband works at Acme Real Estate, right? I hate to say this, but my wife is having an affair with him. Christy Wilson stayed surprisingly composed and asked for proof. I offered to show her exactly where they met. We met the next day at Karen's secret apartment. Christy was petite, pretty, with dark hair, and I couldn't fathom why Greg would cheat on her. Using my spare key, we stepped inside. When Christy spotted Greg's clothes in the closet, she gasped, "Oh my God, I've been looking for these for weeks." I showed her a thank you card from Karen's nightstand. "Thanks for the watch. Can't wait for your housewarming. Love, Greg." We sat there, listening to the car recording together. Two strangers united in betrayal. I suspected something, Christy admitted, but never had proof. So we decided to make a little move-in gift for them by packing all their belongings into the second bedroom. "I wasn't careful with his stuff," Christy said. "Same here." I chuckled bitterly. Later, over burgers at my regular bar, we found we had a lot in common. Both had met our spouses in college, married soon after, and had different expectations about children. Expectations our partners had unilaterally decided for us. Christy was studying for her CPA and shared my love for numbers, unlike our spouses who chased instant gratification. I offered to help her connect with people in my field. For the first time in months, I felt truly heard. She asked thoughtful questions, never dismissing me the way Karen had. That night, Karen called from Vegas, clearly drunk. "Hey baby, guess what? I won Best Salesman and they want me to stay another week to work with their agents." I knew she was lying, but I played along. "That's great news. What about our anniversary is this Wednesday. I'm sorry. Maybe we can celebrate next weekend. I know your work is important, and I'd never want you to miss a big opportunity." When she said, "I love you," I barely managed to respond. "Yeah, me too." Jerry confirmed what I already suspected. Karen and Greg were headed to Hawaii together. His surveillance team had video proof of them spending the night together, which he emailed to me. Christy and I sat in my living room and watched it, both of us witnessing our spouses enjoying each other in ways that shattered us. The pillow talk was somehow worse. "If I know Christy," Greg said, "she's probably glued to one of her boring old movies." Karen replied, "Jason's probably buried in some tedious spreadsheet again. His family business just sells tires. What's so important about that?" When they talked about skipping our anniversary for their trip, Karen's words cut deep. "It's just our 10th anniversary. There'll be more. Who cares right now?" Those words rang in my head as I held Christy, both of us crying. "Would it be okay if I stayed here tonight?" she asked quietly. "Of course. No hanky-panky. I just want to hold you." That night, she became the first woman I had shared a bed with in over a decade besides Karen. She told me I was the same for her. We fell asleep in each other's arms, finding comfort we hadn't felt in years. The next morning, Christy made breakfast, scrambled eggs and bacon, filling the kitchen with warm, rich aromas. Karen hadn't cooked for me in months, saying she needed her time for clients. As we ate, Jerry called again. "Your wife and her partner boarded a flight from Las Vegas at 6 a.m., had a layover in Los Angeles, and left for Honolulu an hour ago. They should land in about 5 hours." That's when everything changed. While Christy and I sipped coffee and discussed our next steps, my phone lit up with Karen's name. I answered on speaker, but instead of her usual voice, I heard panic and chaos. "Chase!" she screamed over shouting in the background. "Plain down sorry." The line went dead. We tried calling her back, but only reached voicemail. Christy couldn't get through to Greg either. I rushed to my computer, found the airline's number, and after being bounced between departments, spoke to someone who said they were investigating reports of a crash. They took our contact information and promised updates. An hour later, the call came. "Mr. Chandler, your wife's flight has crashed. We have no other information at this time, but we'll contact you as soon as we do." Christy got the same call about Greg. We held each other, crying, not because they betrayed us, but because we didn't want them dead. My father phoned from church after seeing the news. When I told him Karen had been on the flight with her boyfriend, he was stunned. "Why was she going to Hawaii without you?" "She was with her boyfriend, Dad." After a long pause, "Oh my God. I'm sorry, son. Take a week off and figure things out." The reports were horrifying. The plane had plunged nose first at 12,000 feet per minute after the crew misread computer warnings, hitting the ocean at 135 miles an hour. The descent lasted just over 3 minutes. I imagined Karen's terror in those final moments, some of them spent calling me, realizing there was no escape. A nearby cargo ship had caught video of the impact. The aircraft shattered on contact. No one survived. Through my grief and anger, I turned to Christy. "Why don't you sell your apartment and move in here? There's a spare room, and with what we're both going through, maybe we can help each other." She looked at me with teary eyes. "Are you serious?" "Absolutely." "Okay, but only if I can share your bed." Last night was the first time in years I felt whole. "More than fine by me," I told her. In the months that followed, we rebuilt our lives side by side. Christy sold her place and moved in permanently. Between the life insurance payouts and the airline settlement, we each received $500,000 from the company and $175,000 from the airline, over $1.6 million total after taxes. I had to close Karen's secret apartment, donating everything to Goodwill. We erased all traces of our unfaithful spouses, photos, furniture, everything. Closing her bank accounts revealed she had been hiding roughly $250,000, built from years of lies about our finances. Lawyers confirmed she'd been capable of having children, but never wanted them. She'd even had 2 abortions during our marriage, one mine, one Greg's, paying in cash to keep them secret. 3 months later, Christy quit her job to be with me full-time. We were deeply in love. One evening at Texas Roadhouse, I knelt and proposed. She said yes with a huge smile as the crowd applauded. "It's about time you made an honest woman of me," she whispered. "Why?" I asked playfully. "Because you're going to be a father." I was stunned with happiness, kissing her over and over. "I love you more than anything," I said. "And I love you even more," she replied. "Just promise me one thing. Don't ever ask me to get on a plane." We both laughed and held each other tight. Looking back, I sometimes wonder if Karen felt any regret before the end, or if her fear was only of dying. Did she think about our 10 years together, our vows, and the life we built? Or was her mind on Greg, wishing their trip hadn't ended in disaster? I'll never know, and it doesn't matter anymore. From the wreckage of Betrayal, Christy and I built something real, based on honesty and respect, not deception. Out of the deepest hurt, we found true love. And despite the pain, the investigations, the legal mess, and the grief mixed with fury, I've never been happier. Sometimes the worst moments in life lead us straight to the best ones.